Okay, this video is going to be one of, I guess, the most important videos I ever did, because it is an advice I will give you, which is really important to understand. It is really important to know. The more you know about the way your body and your brain works, the more you are able to change your life, because it all has to do with self-reflection, right? As I told you in the past videos. So, first of all, sit down, take a deep breath, calm down. No matter what you do right now, just take this moment, these minutes for yourself, for your mental health. And that's why you can also have a cup of tea and just take the time. Take the time for yourself, for a cup of tea, for coming down, to be calm. And then you can process everything I'm going to say in this video better. Okay? So, the day has 24 hours. And you might sleep 8 hours of the day, right? So just ask yourself, what do you do in the next 16 hours? With what kind of people you surround yourself? With what kind of people you talk? Which kind of words you use? That is very important. Which kind of words do you use? When I was in therapy, one of my therapists, I took therapy from different people so that I can hear different perspectives. That is very good. And I just can tell you to do the same, because it is really interesting what they say and how different the answers to your questions sometimes can be. Not that they have the solutions for my problems. It is just from their perspective giving some advices to me. The solution is in your subconscious mind, and they will just help you to find it. So one of them once explained to me that the more you use negative words, the easier it is for your brain through the day to pick up these words. And therefore, you can't get something new by old actions. You will always repeat these words, and repeating these words influences your filter system in your brain. So you will interpret your environment and life from that perspective, and that leads to emotions, and these emotions leads to the same actions. So action, interpretation, emotion, reaction, as I also once explained. And in the 16 hours of work, of doing my hobbies, watching TV, I really take care of what I do and with which kind of people I surround myself. And if you are right now at a place to work where the people at that work are negative, you might think, it is not my fault. They are so negative. No wonder that I am like this, right? Or in school, my students, my classmates, they are so negative and they bully me. That's why I'm like this, right? But let me tell you that peace, inner peace, starts in your heart. And it is really surprising how fast your environment and the people that surround you change their behavior in front of you and everything when you change your inner feelings. Because everything has to do again with feelings. When you go into class and you got bullied from these classmates, it might be hard for you to stay calm, of course, because they reactivate memories in your brain that leads to these bad emotions again. And with these emotions, fear, anxieties, whatever, it can be hard, right? But it doesn't mean that it is impossible, because it is possible. It is possible to change the way you interpret their behavior. For example, you go to, when you go at home, you start manifesting and doing meditation, a new life, a life where you have fun with these students. And should I give you an example from my life? Should I give you? I can. So that was really interesting. When there was one time I took school for the work. I forgot the word. While I did my Alexa, was heißt Ausbildung auf Englisch?
Ausbildung auf Englisch heißt education.
Just education? I thought it was a special word. So for my education, I went to school again. And it was really hard for me because that class, it was so interesting. But I'm going to tell you because I know how that feels, and it is so interesting. You might think that, oh, when you finish school, that's it. You will never ever meet these people again, and life can only become better, right? But that isn't the fact. Like, if you don't process what you experience in school with, for example, therapy, self-reflection, and any skill you can get, life will always show you that you didn't process this, because you will meet new people and you will interpret the behavior of these people again in a way that leads to these emotions, emotions, and then you will react again different to these people. There were so many people who told me in the past, when you are in a group, Daria, you are so different. When I talk to you alone, or sometimes you are there and with these people, you are so different. How? And I explained it to them. I said, yeah, it is because it triggered me, that situation. It reminded me of situations where I got bullied. And so that was the same thing that happened when I went to school again for an education. That you can feel free to correct me if I say something wrong, but I think that wasn't, whatever. So, okay, it doesn't matter. Feel free to correct me, but you know what I mean. And the class triggered me so much. I never ever expected that to happen, but it was interesting. So that was why I felt nervous. And when you feel nervous, you cannot be authentic. And when you are not authentic, the people in your class or at your place to work, they will, of course, treat you differently. Some of them, not everybody, but some of them would think, oh man, she's so strange. Or sometimes you might, without recognizing it, react in a provocation. You would provocate them without recognizing it with your behavior because you're so scared of them hurting you. You know what I mean? That was what I did, and without recognizing it. And I, again, searched for help. I talked to teachers. I talked to social pedagogues. I then started my school project where I helped other people who got bullied. And yeah, just keep going. You don't have to be a professional to help other people. You can always help. So that was what I did. And then I manifested. I said, I'm going to understand, have a better relationship with my classmates. I manifested it. I manifested it. I manifested it. I manifested it. And with the same classmates in my class. What happened was then, one day I felt so bad, and I went to school, and they told us in the last minute that we are in another classroom, in another room. And I went there and nobody came. I just thought, am I wrong? No. Nobody came. And I got so nervous because I didn't know where to sit. I just thought, oh, nobody wants to sit next to me. That is so crazy and so sad. But that is how fearful I was. And I know that a lot of you guys feel the same. And that's why I'm going to tell you that it is just your brain wanting to protect you, because our brain always searches for bad situations so that you can prepare yourself for that situation. But that doesn't mean that that has to be the reality. And nobody came. I waited so long. And I got so nervous because I did not know where to sit. Where should I sit? This is a new room. I want them to sit next to me. I don't want to sit alone. And that was the moment where I said, what am I doing here? I just thought I was so successful in the past. I met so many good people. All these people told me that I'm such a nice woman. They loved me. Why am I in this situation? What does that situation reflect? You know, it was, and then I stood up and I went out of the room and I went home, and I was really proud of myself that I did that. I said, I don't care if this is education. I cannot do that to myself. I was so down. Yeah. And then what happened? A very nice teacher, some weeks later, I met her because I still worked, because I have to pay my bills. I went to work also at the weekend. And there she came with some friends, and she was like, oh, hi, Daria. It is so sad that you now don't come to school and stuff like that. And we talked, and then she said, maybe you can change class. Maybe you can go to the other class. And that was so nice because I never thought about it, but she helped me to change the class. And in the new class, I met new friends. And what I manifested came true. And that was just because, not because manifestation is magic, because for a period of time, for a special period of time, maybe 4 weeks, 8 weeks, I never stopped believing that I have the right to also be treated well. And this has nothing to do with other people. I don't want to, some people would at that point now say to me, oh, that means it's my fault that they bully me. No. It just means you don't have to be the victim of your destiny. And just because other people bully you doesn't mean that you have to stay in that emotion of fear. You can say, okay, that was really hurtful. And at home and there and here and there, I don't have any place to go to feel better. But there will be somebody who will help me to feel better. Believe me, there are people out there. You might not believe me, but there are people out there who will help you. The director of my school, when I was 17, he gave me a key to the library of our school so that I can learn there, so that I can have a place of, you know, of peace, and it was calm there, and I can finish my school. There are so nice teachers and people, social pedagogues and therapists out there. Just be aware of these things. You have to know how your body works, what you do in these 16 hours, how much you have negative thoughts, because you can't get something new with by old actions. You know, it is possible. Sometimes I catched myself. I was aware of myself not being positive in these 16 hours. We all have hard days. And sometimes we think, oh, I don't have the energy anymore. I don't have the motivation, whatever. But when you just take a moment, sit down, take a piece of paper, take a pen, and write down what you already achieved. Even if it was just stop smoking, stop drinking, stop smoking for 1 day, stop drinking for 1 day, for 1 week, or whatever. It doesn't matter how you did it, even when it just was a thought. It is just important to know that you did it. Just thinking, wanting to have a better life is the right direction, because it is your birthright. Doesn't matter what happened in your past. It is your birthright to feel peace, to feel love, to become happy again, to be happy. If you have a cup of tea right now, as I do, and you are healthy, you can breathe. This is the first step, just being aware of these things that are so normal to us. And then start little by little, little by little. Doesn't matter in which kind of situation you are. Have a self-reflection and never, ever stop. Say to yourself, it's not over until I win. Me, my soul. I came here for a reason. It is enjoying life, finding peace and love in my heart, feeling it with my body, and then spread that love to everyone else. Believe me, that is the reason why we are here. And once you understand that, your life gets better. Believe me, it's your life, it's your decision, in your own speed. And if I can do that, so can you. That's it with POA-LIFE. See you soon. Bye. Don't forget your tea. Lecker.